Epsom tonight, so he's travelled a long way to get here, totally out of area. Nice experienced speaker, so that you can all do some nice experienced evaluations on it. Okay. His name is Charles Walsharsky. Charles Walsharsky, and his speech is entitled, "Who has the answer?" Who has the answer? Charles Walsharsky. Got that wrong. First deliberate mistake. It's Charlie.
Have you ever given someone or a group of people some advice, some good advice, possibly your best advice, only for it to be not taken? And how does that feel? Frustrating, annoying, possibly infuriating. If we are good at something, we know stuff, we may want to give advice and share our experience. And when it falls on deaf ears, it can be extremely challenging. And what about when we've been given really good advice, but we haven't taken it? What's going on there? Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and very welcome guests, let's spend a few minutes considering this issue about giving advice and it not landing, and think about whether there are some alternatives. Now, when I'm talking about advice, I'm talking about the macro and the micro. I'm talking about speaking to big groups like this, or having one-to-one, heart-to-heart dialogue. The fact is, we don't know the life state of the person in front of us. They could be motivated or disengaged. They could be really enthusiastic or disillusioned. They might belong to that category of people that the philosopher Henry David Thoreau described as a mass of men who live a life of quiet desperation. And these groups look really different, don't they, when we're talking to them? You've got the engaged, looking rather like this audience, keen, enthusiastic, eyes shining, alert, pins at the ready. And then you've got the disengaged, and they slump a bit. Shoulders go down. And you can hear, almost hear behind their eyes, that little message saying, go on, tell me, make me, give me your best. And then there's a third category, which is the fakers. Yeah, I'll definitely do it. Yeah, I'll definitely do it. Oh, well, absolutely. So we're faced with these people and we don't know who we've got in front of us. So we have to consider whether giving the traditional motivational message, an encouraging message, is the right thing, or whether some parts of it need to be gone. And my view is, some of it needs to be gone. Gone needs to be the, I did it, so can you. Gone needs to be the 3-point, 5-point, 7-point, 10-point plan to success. And gone needs to be the adjectival lobotomy. By which I mean, all you need to do is pull out an adjective and put it in and you will be fine. The adjective could be resilience, it could be tenacity, it could be perseverance. Put that in and you'll be away. Why gone? Those are quite good messages. They could land really well. People might really like them. The reason why my view is gone is because for every person who will love that message, there is another who won't. For every bit of empowerment over here, there's some disempowerment. Think about what goes on in your head when someone gives you some great advice and you know you're not going to take it. In my head, it goes something like, yeah, that's brilliant, yeah, but you're not like me. You are taller, you are smarter, you are more courageous, you are more out of your comfort zone, ... fill in the gaps. Because I don't want their advice. I want to find out a way to do it myself. I wish I knew that some years ago when I knew Brian. Now Brian at the time was like me. He was a young man with a young family. He also, like me, he had a cancer that he was fighting. But unlike me, Brian wasn't doing very well. So I made it my project. I thought, right, this is great. I'm doing well. I can give him advice. I can tell him what to do. I can show him the way. I can explain, this is really important. You can do this. And guess what? He didn't take my advice. And Brian died. And when I reflected, I realised I was trying to get Brian to do it my way. Whereas what Brian needed to do is to have some help to do it his way. And I was a fool. I should have known, because when people started giving me advice, I was similarly scathing. To get over a cancer, you need to get the old white blood cells going. You need to get them charged up. And the advice is, what you do is you arm them, you give them machine guns, you give them swords, and they go and fight the cancer cells. No. Sounds great. But I'm a Buddhist. I don't do fighting. So, I was disempowered by this advice, and it was until I worked out a different way, it was useless to me. Eventually, I got it. I was less machetes and machine guns and more mantras and meditations, and then it was fine. So if all this stuff is gone, well, what's left? What can we do to help people who are in front of us? Two things. One, acknowledgement. We acknowledge what people are going through. Could be a big thing, could be a small thing. If people are acknowledged, they feel heard, and they can do something about it. Second is we give people space. Space to reflect. Space to compute and to think. And space to change. And how can we do that? We can ask questions and then stop talking. We can listen. We can empathise. We can not interrupt. We can dampen down our stories, so let their stories flourish. And when we do those things, people can change and they can move for themselves. They have the answers. As public speakers, as leaders, as managers, as parents, as human beings, we have opportunities to help people. There will be times when we want to tell our stories, and I do, and I enjoy it. But then there are other times when we say less and we give people the opportunity to reflect. Now, I'm really clear that what I'm saying today is a bit of a paradox, because I'm advising you not to give advice. So, you don't have to take my word for it. It's just a view. It's just my view. It's my way. If you think it sounds good, have a go. If you think it doesn't sound good, do it your way. But perhaps we can all take the advice of Oscar Wilde, who said, just be yourself, because everyone else has been taken.